These are things that come from myself, Yonatan Halevy. Do with them what you wish. There is a minhag, almost universal, among all shochatim, that they don't slaughter animals on Rosh Hashanah. Are you allowed to slaughter an animal on Shabbat? No, you can't. What about Yom Tov?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do shechita. How are you going to eat food on the second day of Chag or 8th day of Chag? You do shechita. There's a custom among shochatim of almost every ethnic background that even though you can do shechita on Rosh Hashanah, not to slaughter animals on Rosh Hashanah. How could we ask a Kadosh Baruch Hu for forgiveness and for compassion when we are busy killing animals on the same day that we're asking a Kadosh Baruch Hu not to kill us? In that mindset, how could it be that Erev Yom Kippurim, the way that we think we're going to get a kapara is by killing chickens? Now, I'll tell you, killing chickens, we kill chickens all the time. We're going to kill a chicken to eat him before Yom Kippurim, so why not kill a chicken now? I'll explain very simply. How does it work? How did it work? Imagine a world in which you raise animals in your backyard, the same way you grow your vegetables, the same way you grow your herbs for your spices, the same way. So you had chickens, you had cows, you had all kinds of animals in your backyard. These are animals that you raised, you fed them when they were babies with little syringes to take care of the food for them. Then you gave them seeds, and then your kids play in the backyard with them. And then one day comes time, you need dinner. When the dinner? Erev Yom Kippurim, you have to eat Sudam of Seket. And you know that this chicken that you've raised, forget free range and cage free and all. This is a real free range chicken. It jumps on the fence, it comes to your living room, it goes outside. It's a chicken. Living a happy life in the sun and the grass in your backyard. Now comes time, listen, you can argue with the feeling of this anyways, but you're going to eat this chicken, that's why you raise it. You take the chicken and you slaughter the chicken. It's kasher. You feather it, you cook it, you serve it to your family before Yom Kippurim. So, listen, you had a minhag of Kapparot. That means you take the chicken that you're about to eat for your family, and you take this chicken, and before you do shechita, which you're going to do anyways, you wave it over your head, Zeh chalivati, Zeh temurati, Zeh kapparati, you slaughter the chicken, and you eat the chicken. But that's the original minhag of how this was done. Imagine how it's done today. I don't know what it is like in the United Kingdom. I can tell you, though, how it looks here in the United States, and what I've seen even in Israel. You buy chickens. How many chickens? It's not a minhag they use one chicken for the whole family. They use one chicken per person. So you have 100,000 Jews in the city. They order 100,000 chickens. How do they do 100,000 chickens? They order them from some farm 3 hours away, 5 hours away, 2 hours away. They load these chickens. I have birds at home. You have one bird this big in a cage that big. How does it work here? You have chickens this big in a cage this big, and you put 100 of them inside of the same cage. You cram them in. When do you stop cramming them in? When there's no more room to push another chicken, that's when they close the cage. So then the farmer takes these cages and they put them on the back of a truck. And they drive this truck for 3 hours, 4 hours. Where do they deliver it? Onto the street corner of your Bet Knesset. On the sidewalk in front of the whole world. 100,000 chickens. Forget the smell and the feces and the urine, all that dripping over there. It's the sun. So now it's not a cold season, at least not here. The sun is beating down on the heads of these chickens. There, Kapparot came 2 days early. You got Amazon Prime, so they came fast, these chickens. They're sitting outside there on the sidewalk for the whole world to see them. All of a sudden, the rabbi, the gabbai, whoever's in charge of this project over here, you think he's a farmer? He knows how to take care of chickens? He leaves all the chickens in the cage, and then you see them spraying down the cages with hoses so they can drink water. Imagine you were in a cage, they sprayed you with water. Imagine how much water you can drink with that. They throw some seeds on top of the cages. Maybe they can eat the breadcrumbs. I don't know what they throw over there. And then, by the time comes time to do kapparot, they start opening those cages. You take out a live chicken, behind it is a dead chicken, another dead chicken, and 2 live chickens, and a dead chicken, and then that's already the kapparot started with a negative of a bunch of dead chickens who died how? Died with Tza'ar Ba'alei Chaim, a biblical prohibition. I'm not coming here as an animal rights activist, and even if I was, it would be okay. But I'm not coming from that perspective. A person of halakha, you're trying to get rid of averot for Yom Kippurim. Now you just killed animals. You didn't even do kapparot with them. They're nivelot. You can't even eat them. You can't slaughter a chicken after it's dead. So what do? You take this chicken and throw it in the trash. So now what did you accomplish? Already you started Yom Kippurim with new averot, biblical. The Arizal writes, you want to talk about Kabbalah? The Arizal suggests that people should never raise chickens. Why? He said once he was in Tzfat, and there was a man who died at a very young age. And his wife came to ask the Arizal, why did this man die? He said, I'm not telling you the story as a Kabbalist, but if you're a Kabbalist and that's why you're doing Kapparot, so listen to the story. The Arizal said this man had chickens in his backyard. And one day his chickens were hungry, and he took a bite of food before he gave his chickens to eat. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you caused this chicken suffering? No, forgive me. He put the food for the chicken inside of the chicken coop instead of putting it on the ground where the chicken was. And the chicken had to climb up the ramp to the chicken coop. And because of that suffering that he caused the chicken to have to climb up the ramp to the chicken coop, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said it's worth it for this man to die. The Arizal said for the suffering of one chicken, a person should be careful never to raise chickens. And the same people are stuffing animals inside of cages and watching these animals die. And then what happens? Let's talk animal cruelty aside. Next comes the non-Jews. Chilul Hashem. All of these animal rights organizations, they already know. They come every year with video cameras, with news cameras, and they're there and they're watching the Jews. The Jews are slaughtering chicken, waving chickens over their head, and blood's pouring on the sidewalks. You know, if you wanted to do Kapparot, you have big synagogues. Go take them inside the Bet Knesset, in the backyard of the Bet Knesset. You're in a city street. The whole world is watching you slaughter chickens. By the way, hypocrites that also eat chickens. What do you think it looks like inside of a slaughterhouse? But here, you're choosing to do something in front of the whole world. Jews are barbaric bird killers, whatever it might be. Do you want to do Kapparot? When our Chachamim were thinking of Kapparot, they were thinking of your chicken in your backyard, and you're quiet, private, you're going to eat it. Do you know what happens the next day after these mega Kapparot events? You walk around and you see the dumpsters, the sidewalks, the bushes, they're full of dead chicken carcasses. So what did you accomplish with this? The poor people didn't even get a chicken. So what did you get out of it? The person who ran the event made some money. It makes you feel good that you fulfilled an ancient minhag. An ancient minhag, the Maran says you don't have to do in the first place. A minhag that the Rashba says you shouldn't do. The Ramban says maybe avodah zarah. The Rambam didn't even know about it. For what? For which purpose? So I'll tell you, if you want to do Kapparot with chickens, I'm not going to fight you. Yeah, I know what Maran says. You have a way to raise a chicken in a humane fashion, to slaughter it, and then to eat that chicken. Mori Harav Yaakov Peretz, in the years where he did Kapparot with chickens, it was his own chicken that he raised in his backyard, and he slaughtered the chicken and served it to his own family on Erev Yom Kippurim for Sudam Mafseket. You don't want to use Kapparot for chickens for Kapparot? You could use money. You could use nothing. You could just skip Kapparot. What's going to happen if you skip Kapparot? Nothing will happen. Rabbi Shem Tov Gagin is saying the custom of the Spanish, Portuguese, London, and Amsterdam community is the original Sephardic minhag before we started doing Kapparot. I'm not advocating, you hear already now, I'm neutral on this topic in some ways. But one thing I cannot be neutral about. Your minhag of Kapparot cannot come with abuse of animals or with a Chilul Hashem towards the Jewish community. There are things that you have to do in a calculated fashion. More, when I was growing up, they only brought one chicken for the whole city. So you have 200 people with one chicken. The poor thing, you don't know what it looked like by the end of the night. The wings were falling off. There was blood coming off of the chicken. Even if you don't want to concern yourself with cruelty to animals. But you know, this chicken's not even kasher to do shechita with afterwards. Likely the chicken is already a tereva. What are you going to do with this chicken? And I asked the Jewish community to stop and say, how far have we come from where we're supposed to be? Even if you want to do Kapparot, are you really doing Kapparot the way which Chachamim intended for you to do Kapparot? Clearly not. And then when you read all the sources about it and you wonder, I'm the Jewish person who never did Kapparot and I always felt bad and people made me feel guilty. Now don't feel guilty. You're performing an original minhag by not doing it or by doing it in a way that makes sense. In my Kehillat, we don't even touch chickens. People who want are welcome to take an envelope, put inside tzedakah, they can wave it over their head. And unlike the chicken that you slaughter somewhere, I make sure myself, that this money gets to a poor person before Yom Kippurim. The worst case scenario, if they give me the money after Kippur, it will go feed a family after Sukkot. Why not? Why not do that? How much suffering can we save from animals? How much suffering can we save from the Jewish community in the eyes of the whole world? And how much suffering can we save ourselves for not being guilty of Averot on the eve of Yom Kippurim? You want to do a kapara? Do it the right way. And so I wish us all a Gemar Chatima Tova. I said goodbye already last time in a different shiur, but it's not, this is the only shiur that I'm doing in this entire month, was this United Kingdom shiur here on Tuesday. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to all of you who are here with me now live and those who are going to be listening afterwards for learning with me and for making the shiur what it is. My friendship that I feel with you is very special to me. It's very dear to me. The fact that you and my wife and I feel like we're family together, we're learning together. The zichuyot that you have blessed me to learn things and to hear things and to think about things differently than the way even I would have thought about them before. I really am grateful to you for that. And I want to bless you all with a Gemar Chatima Tova. No chickens needed. I bless you that you should be sealed in the book of life, you and your families and your loved ones and your friends. The world has suffered tremendously this last year and a half. And it's time for us to go into a world of peace. Like we said in Rosh Hashanah, Tichel Shana v'kiloteha. Let this year and all of her curses end. Tachel Shana v'choteha. Let this year and all of her blessings begin. And God willing, well, I'll be standing here in my Bet HaKnesset, and you'll be standing in your Bet HaKnesset, singing to yourself, Lecha Eli Teshukati. To you, Hashem, we yearn. To you, Hashem, we strive. You, Hashem, we love. Have me in mind. I will have you in mind. And Bezat Hashem, we shall walk together into a beautiful new winter season that will be starting. I'll send out an email with more information about that. But until then, Gemar Chatima Tova from all of us here in San Diego to all of you, wherever you are in the world.